Hello and welcome to you all. Thank you for joining. I promised that I would do a World Cup final or World Cup semi-final wrap on England, win or lose, and I am keeping my word. I'll also be doing the World Cup final wrap, which will not involve my team England, unfortunately. This was one of those really heart-wrenching defeats that we've seen before in England versus Argentina matches and in England lore. Hello to everyone joining: Jennifer, Carly, Stuart, Amy has joined us, JK, and others coming in. It's a pleasure to have you here. Oh, mate, I'm heartbroken, writes a mediocre mama. It's a great pleasure to see you as well. Non-mediocre, I call you, but mediocre mama has joined us as well. Yeah, I'm heartbroken too, mediocre. This is an absolutely gut-wrenching loss, and I tell you what, I will put this at the feet of the manager. Listen, Thomas Tuchel, you do not make all of those defensive subs with 10 minutes to go. That is a sign that you don't have confidence in your lads, and you cannot park the bus against Argentina. There is no way on earth, there's no way in America that you can park the bus against Lionel Messi and this Argentina side. You saw what happened with Cape Verde. You saw how they came from behind, beat them. You saw what they did against Egypt. You saw what they did in the game against Switzerland. You cannot park the bus against Argentina, and Thomas Tuchel should know that. He's a world-class manager, and what he did with these subs in the end of this game were disgraceful. And then tell you what the kicker was. Then you put on, after you go down 2-1, now you put on Marcus Rashford, a striker, and you put on Tony, a striker. Tony did not get any kickabouts in this whole tournament. And then with a minute or two left in the injury time, now you bring on Ivan Tony. Why didn't you bring him on at 75 minutes? I mean, it was just mental. It was a mental breakdown by Thomas Tuchel. Your team was tired. The team was defending way too deep in the field. You can't park the bus on your 18-yard box and have five across so deep in the box against an Argentina side that exploits spaces, an Argentina side that has the world's best player on it, an Argentina side that comes at you from the channels, that comes at you in the middle. You're going to leave a man open somewhere, and you must not take your eye off Lionel Messi and everybody else. And I'm sorry, everybody switched to Messi. Three players drawn off to Messi. That leaves one open, and that was a smash goal, and that was the end of England. England scored through Anthony Gordon in the 65th minute, 55th minute of the game, I think it was, the 56th. Great goal. England looked really fantastic in the second half. They played their game to perfection. Could have moved the ball a bit quicker, but their set pieces worked, and their trademarked play on the training ground worked for that Anthony Gordon goal. England looked very good after that, but they got more tired as they went along, and Tuchel did not manage themselves properly at the end of that game. That I can tell you, number one. Number two, I'll read out your comments. Thank you very much indeed for joining. Please hit the hearts and please subscribe to yours truly. After this devastating loss for England, you can see the handwriting on the wall already for Thomas Tuchel. I'll be shocked if he remains the manager of England for the next World Cup in 2030 or whatever it is. I'll be shocked if he remains the manager till then. This was an atrocious display by the manager. The players were tired. You could see it. Declan Rice had nothing left. Jed Spence hurt himself. Jed Spence was excellent tonight, by the way. Jude Bellingham really didn't do a lot in this game. Harry Kane had the key moment, but he really didn't get too many touches. And then Elliot Anderson, I thought, was terrific. John Stones, excellent. I thought the England defense for much of this game was very good. John Stones, very good. Jed Spence, very good. Ezri Konsa, who came on late, I thought he did a good job. Also, Reece James earlier had to come off with an injury. I thought he did pretty well. Bottom line is that, look, they just did not get this job done. Jordan Pickford, excellent saves, but the team tired, and Argentina wore us down, and the manager did not help us in that latter 10, 15 minutes of the game. And inevitably, Argentina was going to come back in the game and score. I knew it wouldn't be easy. I think anybody who's watched Argentina knows that they have abilities to come back. But this one really, really hurts. And again, it goes into the long, long, long chapters of England versus Argentina. Forget the politics. We know about that off the field in the Falklands War in 1982. But you've seen these matches forever between England and Argentina. There's always some gut punch, whether we get a man sent off, whether we miss a penalty, whether there's a hand of God goal from 40 years ago. There's always something that happens between England and Argentina. And lifetime, we'd only lost twice against this lot until tonight. We had played something like 14 matches in our entire history against Argentina. We'd won six, drawn six, and lost only two. Well, we lost only three now, but it's a very big loss in the semifinal of a World Cup. I'm going to read out your comments. Carol, I know you're gut wrenched as well with this defeat, as I am, as mediocre is. This is a crushing loss for us. You can imagine the postmortems now in the British press, and I'm going to try to avoid some of the pundits. But the bottom line is that it was predictable that Argentina was going to score somewhere around the line. If you thought that Argentina was going to be shut out of this tournament, you're wrong. They were bound to score somewhere, and they did. And then I don't think we dealt with the rest of the game after that at 1-1. Tuchel got panicked, made these defensive subs. He made it 5-4-1. So that means, for those of you who don't know football very well, in your own 18-yard box, you've got five defenders across the box, and you're inevitably going to, when you have that many defenders across your box, you're defending deep by definition. And then you've got four in front of you, and then you've got the one lone striker up top. And that's going to leave you so much trouble, because when you get the ball at all, you're going to have to hoof the ball upfield, and it's going to come right back because you haven't got enough support up front. So structurally, Tuchel did not deal with this game well when it was at 1-1. In fact, he didn't deal with it well when we had the lead, because he panicked, started bringing on defensive subs way too early for me. 78 minutes bringing on subs. Wait till you get toward injury time. That's when you bring the subs in. Even if it was 1-1 as it was, bring in your subs then. But he brought them on way too early. We didn't have any competitive fire. And then he got desperate at the end when we fell down 2-1. And he brings on Ivan Toney. He has not had a kick in this World Cup. And he brings on Marcus Rashford. What he could have done is brought Rashford on earlier in the game. I think they could have brought on Rashford at halftime. That's what I think. But anyway, they would have had to make a change inevitably somewhere. Anthony Gordon comes off. It was just a nightmare. Let me read your comments out. You've heard what I've had to say. Let's hear. Let me read what you have to say. Thank you very much for joining. This is Omar here after the World Cup semi-final wrap. England 1, Argentina 2. A gut-wrenching defeat for the Three Lions tonight, as it is not coming home this year. 60 years of hurt from that Three Lions song by David Baddiel and all the rest of those singers in that great song. But it's been a heartbreaking day. I'm going to read your comments out. Mediocre Mama says, 100% agree, Omar, about the comments I've made with the way that Tuchel managed this game. Very, very poor. He's going to get a lot of stick, and well-deserved, from the British press and from a lot of England fans, because this was no way to manage out a game. And I thought Tuchel was a bit smarter than that, but he obviously was not. Making the mistakes, being negative, parking the bus. How do you park the bus against Argentina? Oh my God, any manager can tell you, you do not park the bus against the world champions. This is the world champions, Argentina. This is not some chopped liver down the street. This is not chopped liver down the high street. This is the world champions of football with the best player in the world on that team. Omar, I'm in another seminar now, writes Vicky. No problem, Vicky. Thank you for joining us. Barbara has joined us. Medio Mama says, I said this, I said that from before the second hydration break, writes Mediocre Mama. I said it was making me nervous. And yes, I concur with you, Mediocre Mama, because bottom line is that Tuchel did not react well. There were too many near misses in this game. How many times did Pickford have to make a save that looked like it was going into the back of the net? We saw this. It was coming. The warning signs were being fired. Tuchel decided to panic instead. And the bottom line is that we just did not gain traction. You could see the lads were getting tired. They were going deeper and deeper and deeper toward their own goal. And against this Argentina side, you cannot do that. I don't think the subs were that judicious. After that hydration break, I agree, Mama. That was an absolute joke. And if it was making you nervous, it was making me nervous. And if it was making you and I nervous, mediocre, it was making every other England fan nervous as well. And you should read the comments on some of these social media platforms. It's well deserved. I mean, Tuchel is going to be absolutely roasted over the coals with this performance. And listen, the lads gave it everything. Carol Phipps has joined us, as you said, and it's what they do, says Mediocre. It's what Argentina do, and it's what some England managers have done. We have been sometimes, I think, Mediocre, the architects of our own downfall, and this time it was the managers doing. I don't think you can blame any of these players. As Carol said, Carol Phipps, they really tried hard, Omar. They are still champions in my book. I cannot disagree, Carol, but ultimately the scoreline tells the real truth of this game, Carol. We just did not meet the moment. We did not meet the intensity of Argentina when we absolutely had to. And as you see, as a result of that, we are going to be playing a third place game again. We did that in 2018. We finished fourth, and we are going to do it again this Saturday. Who's watching the third place game? Can you really watch that game now? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Carol, thank you for the comment. Adam W has joined us. Mediocre says, I think Argentina should play that referee all the time. Yeah. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mean, I guess you have to laugh, don't you? Mediocre, or as I call you, non-mediocre. I guess you have to laugh because that referee, he did not adjudicate this match, I think, properly. He let too much go, didn't give enough yellow cards out, in my view. Elliot Anderson got a yellow card for it. I don't really know what. And then they did give out an Argentina card on one or two of them, but I think he got the balance and the tempo of the game wrong. England played as well as they could. I thought the game plan went well in the first half, but we didn't fashion enough chances in the second half. And I needed us to move the ball a bit more quick. We couldn't do that. We didn't do that. And then Argentina began to turn the screw. We got the ball and got the goal against the run of play, I think, in a little bit. It was a hoof and a hope, and it was a great ball in from Morgan Rogers for the assist that found the feet of Anthony Gordon for that goal. And Anthony Gordon, his first and only goal of this World Cup, was the goal that put us in front. I thought we did well for the first 10 to 15 minutes after that goal, but then you saw Argentina turn the screw up, expose the spaces, and got a manager for England panicked. And the panic should never be something that you react off of, especially as a manager, let alone a player. And as you saw, the rest was all she wrote as far as that was concerned. Argentina with two goals in the space of about 7 minutes, and we were done for. And then the manager panicked again. With all battle stations go, we're putting on Ivan Toney and putting on Marcus Rashford together with literally 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes left of injury time. What a joke. It's just a joke. Why don't you put them on at half time then? Why didn't you be daring? And the thing is, we lack imagination. When it happened, and listen, I'm not trying to slag off the team, but the England managers lack imagination, and Gareth Southgate was a prince of a manager. We just didn't get there. But sometimes our managers, Fabio Capello, lack in imagination when it counts. It's a really horrific situation. But you know what? This is going to hurt for a while. Mediocre mama rooting for Spain. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the same thing. We have nothing to reply with, says me. Yeah, we didn't have anything to go with. It was just really poor. And then the thing is, Mediocre and everyone else watching, once you concede a goal like that and you've subbed off all of your players and put on only defensive-minded players, you're one-dimensional. And you've got really no game plan after that. And it really becomes very transparent what you're doing. You're going to be doing route one football, which is to kick the ball as far as you can into the opponent's area, into the opponent's final third, into the opponent's 18-yard box. It was, unsentimental football, unromantic football, and very predictable football. That's what you're going to do. It's route one football. But really, really difficult to see this game at the end. I couldn't bother watching the faces of the England players. I didn't know. All I saw was Messi cheering, and I just switched off the TV. Very, very painful to watch this. Argentina get one over us. It's going to be, and I'm going to walk around proudly with my England shirt on. I'm not taking that off around here. I'm going to be very proud. I'm going to walk the streets. There's some Argentina fans down here in San Francisco, California. I'll walk the streets. You got to walk up with your head high, win or lose in these games. And this is going to hurt for a while. But very, very poor from the manager who's going to get the bows and the arrows and all the other God knows what else thrown at him. But we tried, but the manager did not react well, and he panicked. You cannot park the bus. I would love to hear what Thomas Tuchel has to say in his post-match interview comments, but he is going to be in for an absolute grilling on TalkSport Radio, on the BBC, on ITV, on everywhere, on social media, forget it. And the Daily Mirror and the Sun and the Telegraph and the Express, they're going to be kicking him around all over England. It's going to be a very, very rough next 24 hours for Thomas Tuchel. But these players, let's see what they've got for Saturday. Saturday against France, no less. I was really hoping that this would be a rematch of the Euros from 2024 when Spain played England. Spain beat England 2-1 in that Euro final in 2024. I was really hoping that we were going to get there for another rematch, this time in the World Cup final. But alas, not to be. We fall at the second to last hurdle by a score of 2-1. We led in the 56th minute through Anthony Gordon. Great ball over, up by Harry Kane. Morgan Rogers with a fantastic ball directly to Anthony Gordon, who side-footed it in past Martinez. And that was England leading for a good, 20 minutes? 25? Got to the 83rd minute, whatever it was. Maybe 84th minute. And Enzo Fernandez let fly. And then I think Martinez scored to give Argentina a passage to the World Cup final, which is going to be played on Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. That's 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. That's 8 p.m. UK time. And I don't think too many people in England are going to have their eyes on this. There probably will be some. I mean, I will watch the World Cup final, but it's a really tough thing to be asking about now when you're talking about England absolutely spitting the bit here with these two late goals from Argentina, who find a way to win every single time. Let me read out your comments. I missed the game, writes Adam. Did Argentina win fair and square in your opinion, Omar? The answer to that quickly is yes, they did. Or did the refs show them favoritism? Question mark from Adam. The refs did not show any favoritism in this game. I don't think the referee was consistent, but I don't think he was biased to Argentina. Remember, Adam, I've said this a lot, and I know I'm not the only one, and you obviously agree. FIFA and the referees in previous matches in this World Cup tournament have shown a lot of bias to Argentina. VAR not being called in, VAR being called in when it shouldn't be called in, people getting sent off the game against Switzerland when they shouldn't have been, overreactions from referees, panic stations. FIFA clearly won Argentina in the final because Messi, the best player in the world, is there. They want to have that as a showcase. I mean, I think it's blooming obvious that that's what it is. It's not a conspiracy theory. Listen, if any organization wants the best players and the best matchups. I mean, so it's not even a conspiracy theory. I don't traffic in conspiracy theories, but I hate conspiracy theories. But if you're in any sport, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the World Cup football, whether it's National Hockey League, whether it is the NFL, any of these sports, the WNBA, they want the best matchups. I think they do. The question is, do they do anything to try to facilitate those? And I would say, for the most part, they don't. But Argentina certainly has had the benefit of a lot of calls in these games, but today they earned it. I've got to be fair. It's hard to be as an England fan, but Argentina won the game. They didn't steal the game, they won the game. The manager of England blew the game for England. But Argentina took the bull by the horns. Even when we were up 1-0, Argentina provided plenty of warning signs, and if it wasn't for Jordan Pickford, this game would have been over earlier. I think Tuchel was very naive today. Very naive today. You cannot park the bus against the World Cup champions. You just can't. You can't do that. Adam continues on. Sorry, by the way, I was upset to see England lost, especially for you, my friend. No problem there, Adam. Thank you for the commiserations. This was a gut-wrenching loss tonight, and it's going to be a very difficult time in the nation of England after this. It's very painful stuff, and I'm not even in England right now. I'm here in California. This is a very painful loss. We were literally 12 and a half minutes, maybe more, because they probably put on a million minutes of injury time. In fact, the referee put on 9 extra minutes. I don't know if the match warranted that, but the bottom line is we could not find a way. And Tuchel then brings on two strikers. Bit late, mate. Bit late. What on earth is that man doing? But Mediocre Mama says, I have to say on balance, Argentina won fair and square, though. I'm only messing about the ref. Yeah, Mediocre, I agree with you about they won fair and square today. You listen, there'll be fans that say otherwise, but you have to be fair. Have to be fair. And I have no problem acknowledging when a team just deserved to win the game. Argentina deserved to win the game in the end. They showed you resilience, they showed you toughness, they showed you spirit and character. England were hanging on. Argentina had a mission to accomplish, and they did. That's the difference. England were hanging on to the finish line, and Argentina had a mission that they wanted to accomplish, and they did. And you cannot hang on in these games. You cannot hang on. England did that against Norway. They tried to hang. They got the win, of course, but they hung on for dear life. They did the same thing against Mexico. I understand the strategy, but that strategy will not work against Argentina. You have to take risks, and Tuchel did not take risks. He played it safe. I would have rather Tuchel actually show a little bit of daring in some of them subs late, and we still go out and lose the match, than Tuchel playing it safe, playing not to lose, like we've had so many times with this England side over many decades, and end up getting beat. If you play not to lose a match, you're going to lose it. Simple as that. If you play to win a match, you've got a bloody good chance to win that match. These are the lessons that Tommel, whatever his name is, ex-England manager. What are the odds? What's William Hill going to cast on the odds? Ladbrokes. What is Ladbrokes, the betting agency, going to say? Will he remain the manager of England for the next for the Euros at 2028? Who knows? We will find out when we find out. But Thomas Tuchel today played not to lose the match instead of played to win it. Got to be daring in these matches. Argentina were daring. Why didn't we play with the daring that was required after that hydration break? And I know you said you're only messing about with the ref, but I do think that he got the balance of the game, I guess, but it was very unevenly refereed. I'm not going to blame the ref because the ref is not the reason England lost this game. But I just think that at times, Mediocre Mama, there were refereeing decisions with foul calls that were, I think, a bit questionable. But again, not nearly enough to say that the referee was the reason. He certainly was not. On balance, I think he got most of this game right, most of it. Charmaine has joined us. Oh, Omar, thank you so much for doing this. I needed it so bad. Mediocre Mama, you are more than welcome. And so thank you for joining as well. It's great to see you here. Thank you for joining. I knew I was going to do this. Everyone watching Mediocre and everyone else watching, I knew I was going to do this. And I told you on Saturday after we beat Norway, win or lose, I was going to be back here right after this match against Argentina. And I also told you, no matter what happens, I'm going to be doing a post-match on the World Cup final on Sunday afternoon here in sunny, at least it's sunny right now, sunny San Francisco, California, as it will be Spain against Argentina now. That's going to be quite a final, by the way. Quite a final to watch. Defensive team against a team that goes on the attack. That's going to be a very good match. Spain will be trying to stop Argentina from becoming only the third side in history of the World Cup to win back-to-back World Cups. It's happened with Italy in the 1930s. They did it back-to-back. And also happened, of course, with Brazil in 1958 and 1962. Those are the only two teams in the history of the World Cup for the men's game who have won the World Cup back-to-back. Argentina will be looking to become the third team ever to do it. And if they do it, it will cement a legacy not only for Argentina but also, of course, for Lionel Messi, who everybody has anointed as the greatest player ever. And it's not sour grapes for me to say the following: he is not the greatest player ever to play. Pele, folks, is the greatest player ever to play, and he has 3 World Cups, and he's no longer with us. But Pele has won at least 3 World Cups. Okay, so look, not sour grapes; it's just the facts. But we'll see if Messi can at least cement a legacy, because if he does, you'll never hear the end of it from the press, and they'll be absolutely doing dances all over the place. We know that they love Messi. Messi is a good person. I'm not writing him off that way. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying that's the way that the media moves with all of this stuff. Let me read all your comments. Mediocre Mom says, right. And Lydia has joined us as well. Hello. 1D is 100% right. Um, Mediocre, could you clarify? I know you said this a few minutes ago, but I'd love for you to clarify that comment, because I'm not quite sure. Adam said that had to suck bad. Right, Adam. I'm glad I missed the game. Yeah, Adam, you missed quite an enthralling game. First half I thought was really good, even though England didn't really fashion any chances. It was an excellent stalemate first half. We didn't move the ball quickly enough, Adam, but we also were not shrinking violets, and I thought, were quite aggressive in moments. We tried to get at them, but it didn't fashion any real chance. We bottled up Messi, but in the second half, the game got stretched after we scored, and the manager just panicked. He absolutely panicked. Mediocre Mama, I switched off then too. Don't begrudge Argentina, but too painful to see the end, the England team. Yep, mediocre. I feel the same way. I just couldn't bear to watch the response of the England players after that match. When that whistle blew and I saw Messi celebrate, I just turned off the thing. I could not watch. So you and me are in the same place there. I'm sure there'll be millions of others who are too. That was a bitterly disappointing result. Bitterly disappointing. Bitterly disappointing result. I was hoping for extra time. It never came. And the lads were just too tired. They just were, you know. Um, Reece James, I thought, was good, but he got hurt. Jed Spence was excellent, but he got hurt. John Stones, Pickford, I thought they were both great. But again, how many times did you see Jordan Pickford screaming at his defenders to get away and push up? It was just too many warning signs, and the manager just did not react to it well. Just didn't react to it well. I thought the starting lineup, by the way, was very good. I had no problem with Bakayo Saka on the bench. Had no problem with Madueke, because he's been awful in these games. Madueke has not been great. So I have no problem with him on the bench to start with. And I like this lineup. Reece James on one side of the defense, and you had Jed Spence on the other side, and then you had the two centre backs in the middle with Stones. I forget who the other one was for a moment here. Stones and whoever else it was in the middle of the park defending. And then, of course, you had, I think it was a 4-3-2-1, something like that. I forget. Or 4-2-3-1. Two holding, and then you had three going forward. I think it was Anderson holding. I forget who else was holding. And then you had the three going forward. You had Morgan Rogers on the left. You had on the right-hand side, crikey, who the hell was it? Morgan Rogers was on the right. And then on the left, you had someone in the middle. Bellingham was probably in the middle. I forget who was on the left. And then up top, you had Harry Kane. I was fine with that balance. I thought that was very, very good, very effective. But again, Tuchel's game plan for when things went wrong was terrible. It- you have to have a game plan for success, but you also have to have a game plan for failure. And Thomas Tuchel's game plan for failure was panic. Panic is not a game plan, not a game plan. And so as a result of that, we shipped 2 goals in 7 minutes and just had no idea what to do. We did not respond well to the first goal conceded. I think Pickford showed some real leadership out there, even though he's not the actual captain. Um, but we just did not put on the focus for getting across the line to get into extra time. You get into extra time, anything can happen, anything. But it just didn't work out. Mediocre writes, or as I say, non-mediocre, right? We just didn't bring the right game to face Argentina, and that has to lie with Tuchel. Mediocre, geez, mediocre mama, I agree with you. Um, I'll call you mama for short. Oh, but mediocre mama, listen, I agree with you 110%. Um, the manager's to blame here. And there's really no other person to blame. The players gave everything they could give under the circumstances. The players, I thought, played very well. I thought that the players did everything. There were some excellent defensive plays by John Stones in that game when Argentina began to get a grip on the game down 1-0. I thought that Ezri Konsa played well. Mark Gahey was the other guy in the middle. I couldn't believe I can't forget. How could I forget Mark Gahey? Mark Gahey had a good game. I think he defended well also. But these lads did not have a game plan for when they got punched in the mouth. It's like what Mike Tyson said many years ago. Everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. And when Argentina punched us in the mouth, when Argentina punched England in the mouth, there was no plan. The plan was panic. And it's a shame. It's a real, real shame that we could not respond and we did not react well. But again, I think the players kept playing, but you could see they were very tired and they were sinking deeper and deeper and deeper back to their own box. I agree with you again, mediocre. Tuchel's to blame here. Substitutions were poor. We did not let the game breathe enough. We did not take a chance, take a risk. We weren't daring enough. We didn't trust our defense. I don't think Tom Tuchel trusted the defense. Let me be precise. So that is my feeling about that. Mediocre, thank you very much indeed. Cherry Girl has joined us. Hello, Cherry. Carol writes, "You're right, Omar. They won, and that's that." You're right, says Mediocre Mama. Our boys, this team could have won. They had it in them. That's what's so sad. Mediocre Mama, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing. It's not as if England played poorly. If England had played this game poorly, and we still lost in the very similar manner, and the manager still made some poor subs, I would have looked at the players more than the manager. I mean, the manager still would have had the ire of yours truly, but I would have looked more at the players. But this lot of players should not hang their heads tonight. I know it's going to be very hard for them. But these players put in a shift. They played as well as they could against the world champions. But the manager really pulled the trap door, didn't he? He pulled the rug out from under the team. And I will bet you this. Remember, and this had been made a lot of in the English press as well as out here in the United States. After the Norway match, Thomas Tuchel talked about how disappointed he was, and he had a right to, because I agree, they didn't play well against Norway. And then he made the comments about, that our team has to be better. And remember when Jude Bellingham also made comments saying, well, he obviously doesn't realize what it's like and how hard it is to play against Haaland and this one and that one and that in those temperatures in Miami, et cetera, et cetera. And then the press on both sides of the Atlantic made a lot of that. I can guarantee you now they're going to make a lot more of it. And then there's going to be questions about Tuchel, questions about the players. Did they respond to him? Do they like him? It's going to be that kind of next 48 to 72 to 100 hours until this game on Saturday in the British press. You're going to hear all of that and more. Talk sport, the predictable places. You'll hear it on social media. It's going to be a total slag fest, if you will, about that. So that's going to be a problem. But the bottom line is just no denying the result. Argentina deserved to win. As painful as it is, they're bitterly despised rival for all kinds of reasons on and off the pitch. I thought that we really played well in parts of this game, better than we had against Norway. I thought our composure mostly was very good. It's just, once that ball went in the back of the net in the 86th minute or whenever it was, we did not react well. We just didn't. 6 more minutes later, another goal. England defending is normally better than that. But again, when the manager puts you in this position and he subs off all these attackers players, and he doesn't get the balance right, and he plays negatively, and he subs negatively. I thought the first couple of subs weren't bad, but then he kept doing the same thing, and you just tempt fate when you do this. So let me read out the rest of your comments. NCC has joined us. Hopefully, you'll be announcing that Spain won. I hope so, Adam. I really do. That will be the post match. Regardless of who wins on Sunday, I will be right back here to do a post match. And as Mediocre Mama says, um, one dimensional. Absolutely. Mediocre Mama, I completely agree with you. I mean, I think that you and I would have been able to see, well, we obviously did see, that England were becoming as predictable as, I don't know, describe your analogy or adjective here. Very one dimensional. And that meant it was even easier for Argentina to get down our sides, get down the channels. How many times? I mean, the warning signs were so obvious. Messi was so far out on the right hand side. He was parked there, a la Kieran Trippier from the England sides of previous years. He was camped out there on the right hand side touchline, and there's so much space, and nobody came up to him. Nobody tried to flag down the spaces. And the thing is that if you could have pushed Argentina narrow, you might have had a chance. But when you've got them coming down your sides, it's tough. And remember, when you draw, see, it's a really catch 22. You don't want to leave Messi roaming on the right hand side. But the problem is, you also don't want to leave your middle open. And for that goal, that second goal, or whichever, I forget whichever goal it was, he had three defenders gravitate to Messi, and then there's an open man. And Enzo Hernandez or Fernandez or whatever, I know he plays for Chelsea in West London, smashed the ball home. Pickford had no chance. Pickford gave it everything. Got no problem with Jordan Pickford. He kept the team in the game. And even when we had the 1-0 lead, it felt like we didn't. Felt like we didn't have the 1-0 lead. Some of that is down to a lot of that's down to Argentina, but a lot of that is also down to, again, Titi, Thomas Tuchel, who continues, I think, to get his name mentioned in infamy. This was not a good World Cup. The bottom line is, if you ask most England fans now, and you can give me your views here, whether you're an England fan or not watching this, but if you ask most England fans right this second, this was a failure. This was not a good World Cup for us. A good World Cup for us would be reaching the final or winning it. That would be a good World Cup for England. It would. Nothing less than getting to the final at minimum. And I had to see Mick Jagger sitting there. I mean, look at even Mick Jagger there, who loves his English football. He sat there in his white cap and he shook his head at one, I think at 1-1. You could see him shaking his head because he knew what was coming. And you don't have to have a degree from the London School of Economics, like Mick Jagger does, to know what's coming after it was 1-1. I mean, you just saw him shake his head at 1-1. Because we all know, as long-time England fans, seasoned, grizzled veterans that we are, that once it's 1-1, it's going to be 2-1 to the other lot. Because that's how it goes. We have been bitten by bad luck, horrible managerial decisions, red cards, missed penalties, muffed everything, own goals, hand of God goals, all the rest of it. And somewhere, Diego Armando Maradona is smiling. That song from David Baddiel and the rest, the Three Lions song, It's Coming Home, is now on ice for another year. 60 years of hurt. In fact, it's going to be what? 64 years of hurt by the time we get to 2030 in the next World Cup, wherever that's going to be. I think the next World Cup is, where is the next World Cup going to be? Not Brazil, because the men's World Cup is, I don't know where that's next, but the women's World Cup next year is going to be in Brazil. So at least there's that to look forward to, I suppose. But right now, I'm not thinking about the Women's World Cup. The minute, I guess, I'm thinking of the Men's World Cup and how we crashed out of this tournament against a team that continues to come from behind. We've seen it over and over and over and over again. And the other heartbreaking thing is that this time they didn't need a referee or a VAR or a FIFA or Gianni Infantino to bail them out. Um, they did it on their own merits, and they deserve to win. Stacy from California, hello to you. Good afternoon, Omar. Right, Stacy. It's great to see you. Good afternoon here as well to you, Stacy, here in the great state of California, here in San Francisco, California, where the sun is shining, but the rain is falling in the hearts of each and every England fan, from me to Mediocre to Carol Phipps to millions across England and around the world. This was a very, very painful loss tonight as England go down to defeat by a score of 2 goals to 1. Late goals from Enzo Fernandez and I think Martinez were the two that sunk the England ship tonight. But really, it was the third person who sunk the England ship tonight, and that was none other than Thomas Tuchel, the manager of England. And you can hear it now. You can hear those England fans now. Oh, well, we shouldn't have a German manager. And I'm not going for that nonsense. I'm not going for that. Oh, well, we shouldn't have a German. The same thing was said about Capello. Oh, we shouldn't have had we shouldn't have had an Italian manager. The same thing was said about Sven Goran Eriksson. Oh, we shouldn't have had him. We shouldn't have had someone from Sweden. We should only have an England. Listen, I don't care the nationality of the manager. I care about what that manager's doing tactically, and does he have the balance right? And obviously, Tuchel today tried, he got outmanaged by Scalino or Scolari or Ferrari or whatever his bloody name is. And the bottom line is that he just outmanaged himself. Tuchel tripped over himself trying to outsmart someone that you just can't outsmart this world championship team. You just put it this way: sometimes managers overmanage games, and it's done either in the tactics they use or the substitutes they employ, or it's done with these hasty decisions. And that hydration break that Mama points out there, uh, um, mediocre Mama points out there, was really critical. I think that's a really good point you're making there, mediocre. Um, that hydration break was really important, and I don't know that whatever Thomas Tuchel said to them, I don't know. It's just too painful, actually, at this point. But I'm going to still soldier on here for a few more minutes. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining. I'll continue to read your comments out. By now, I'm sure you know, if you are just joining, the final score from the second semi-final in the World Cup was England 1, Argentina 2. That game was played today in Atlanta, Georgia, underneath the roof. And England got bounced out of this tournament just before the key World Cup final. If we could have at least got to the final, and we could have given Spain a real go, it would have been a very tough ask. I knew today's game was not going to be easy. I think every England fan, in addition to myself, thought that this game was going to be a major challenge and that it wasn't going to be easy. I thought England were going to make it through, and I knew, and I said, but it will not be easy. And obviously, it was not easy, and we did not make it through. So, yeah, I am disappointed to say the least, gutted with this result. The lads, I feel so sorry for the lads because the lads gave it everything, as Carol referenced earlier. They really, really did. And these lads gave it everything. You know what it's like to be training for this, to be working hard, eat, sleep, drink football, to be training all the time, working hard on these lads invest so much in these matches. Declan Rice, who had been sick in the previous game, worked his socks off to get back, and you could see how exhausted he was. This is a grueling World Cup. These guys traveled all over the place. They were up in altitudes in Mexico City that were the height of two Empire State Buildings put together. This was a really, really problematic game. And it's a very difficult way to go out. The Pope of Ginza has joined. Mediocre Mama writes, do you think Tuchel's negative comment after Norway had an effect? I don't know. That's a very good question again, and it goes to the point I made earlier, and I know you made your comment earlier, Mediocre, on this. But I think that that is an open question. Um, I think what's going to happen, as I said at the time you probably made this comment, Mediocre Mama, is that the press, the British press, especially the English press, are going to really make a lot of that, and they're going to do their postmortems, and that very point is going to be very scrutinized about whether or not there was division in the England camp, whether or not they like Tuchel, whether or not they feel comfortable playing with him or playing for him, whether or not they adjust well to him. That's going to be the postmortem, Mama, all over the place here on these next few days. That is going to be the thing that's going to be forensically looked at. It's going to be basically, for lack of a better term, hung, drawn, and quartered. I'll be shocked, Mediocre, if that's not the case. I'll be shocked if that is not inventoried and sliced and diced and made so forensic that it's like an autopsy. So that's going to be the problem, unfortunately. I saw that with Jagger. He saw it. Yeah. Mediocre, like I said a few minutes ago, and I know you made these comments a few minutes ago, he saw the handwriting on the wall before the manager did. I mean, you could just see that shake of the head, that slow but sure shake of the head by Mick Jagger. He saw what was going to happen. He knew. And that was at 1-1, as I said earlier. That was at 1-1. He absolutely knew what was coming next, as did a lot of us. I was fearing it, but I was hoping that we could at least get to the extra time. Because at extra time, you have at least a little bit of wiggle room. It's not a golden goal situation. And you know that if you can make it through 30 minutes of extra time, you've got a chance at penalties. You've got a 50-50 chance. And at the very least, it's a different kind of game. And if England had got to extra time, who knows? But the problem is that Thomas Tuchel's substitutes, he was just all over the shop. For somebody who prides himself on discipline and control and, all of that, he lost his control of that game tactically and with the subs. I couldn't believe it, writes Mediocre or non-mediocre. When I realized 30 years of hurt had become 60, when did that happen? Yeah, I know, isn't it? Isn't that what happens to us when we get older? Because I feel the same way. Because I mean, listen, I don't know how old you are, Mediocre Mama, but I'm certainly one of the older ones in the room, and I often say this to myself: where the hell did time go? And I did think about that song recently. I played it recently, and obviously that song was released in 1996, and I said, hang on a minute, it's 60 years of hurt. 30? It's six. So then you go, bloody hell. So the time does fly. And yeah, it's incomprehensible where that 30 years came from. It's incomprehensible that it's been 30 odd years since David Beckham got sent off. Something like that, or 90. He only got sent off in 1998. So it was nearly 30 years ago. So I know, when did that happen? I know. We all we can do is joke about this, Mediocre, because we can't turn the clock back, can we? Unfortunately, because I'd like to turn it back about an hour and 10 minutes ago if I could. I think you would as well, Mediocre. Thank you for the comment, JE. Hello from Rochester, New York. Just saw you live. Thank you, JE, for coming in. It's great to see you. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for watching, everybody. That had nothing to do with it, writes Carol, and not encouraging them with his statements didn't help, in my opinion, writes Carol. Can you clarify, Carol? Again, I know you made these comments about 10 or 15 minutes ago. What Carol's talking about, I think, is about the Thomas Tuchel statement regarding the game against Norway after that match. He was very disappointed in the team. He applauded their mentality, but he did not like the way they played. Said we have to play much, much better than that. And then Jude Bellingham made comments alerted to by a reporter who probably took what Tuchel said out of context, of course, because isn't that what always happens? And Bellingham, not one to hold his tongue. And listen, I like Jude Bellingham tremendously. He's a really good model of what being a great England player is all about. Said no, he obviously doesn't know what it's like to play against Haaland in that heat and all the rest. And so for Bellingham to say that so publicly obviously reveals who knows what. But Carroll is talking about not encouraging them with his statements didn't help, in my opinion, and that had nothing to do with it. I guess you're talking, Carroll, about Tuchel's statements. Did they have anything to do with this defeat today? I Before your question was on the screen, I said that to me had nothing really to do with it. But what I did also add is that the British press, the English press in particular, are going to have a field day with that. They are going to just completely blow that up out of proportion. And you're going to be hearing, if you haven't already, on your usual suspects, your Sky Sports, your Talk Sport, your Daily Expresses, and your Suns, and your Mirrors, and your BBCs and ITVs, and on your YouTubes, you're going to be hearing about this comment. Did this comment I'll be shocked if you don't hear about that. 100% agree with you on the post-mortem, like clockwork. Thank you, Mediocre Mama. Monica Mayberry has joined us. Hello, Monica. Nice to see you. SDR has joined us as well. Thank you, SDR. Nice to see you. Appreciate your support as always. Remember, please become a paid subscriber on this channel. If you like what you see and what you've heard, and you enjoy the community here, please be a paid subscriber. As remember, I do giveaways for paid subscribers on this channel, as I do. I've had a hiatus from the giveaways for the last few weeks, but they are coming back in the next few weeks. I've got lots to give away, merchandise, such as hats and t-shirts for the New York Knicks, of course, and also a number of other things, vinyl records, which I've given away in the past. I'll be giving away some of those again to paid subscribers only, books, movies, vinyl records, as I said, CDs, all the rest of it. Got a number of books to give away, and those giveaways will resume in the next few weeks, I promise. But again, to have a chance to win one of those giveaway items, you have to become a paid subscriber. So what I do with that is I put the paid subscribers' names into a hat and at random draw out a winner for each prize I give away. So remember, you have to be in it to win it. And I will be giving away more prizes to paid subscribers only, as I've been doing throughout the last year now. Paid subscribers to my chat and to my Substack here can attest to the validity of those giveaways. And I've given away many prizes over the last almost a whole year now, but certainly over the course of this year and previously into last year. So anyway, that is the thing to keep in mind. And also, if you can't become a paid subscriber, become a free subscriber. And maybe you will upgrade to become a paid subscriber. That too would be greatly appreciated. I've done a number of essays this week. I write about politics, I write about movies, I write about all kinds of things. And so I did a one on movies this week, about 4 movies I recommend to you to watch, under the title of Things Are Not What They Seem. I think that would be a very apropos title for the England-Argentina match today after the 60th minute or thereabouts. But that's up there. I wrote about Graham Plattner in the political end of things and did a deeper dive into that whole thing. And I strongly, so a lengthy essay from a few days ago, but I strongly recommend that you read that. So look, I'll continue to write. I'll do also some extras for paid subscribers. I also wrote a book, of course, about the trip to New York City and the New York Knicks, my beloved New York Knicks, who after 53 years of hurt, got their NBA championship. And I was there in person to see it, particularly one of the great games that's ever been played in the NBA Finals, that one, Game 4 at Madison Square Garden, which was actually 4 Wednesdays ago, by the way. And in fact, I have the souvenir ticket. I'm not going to bring it now, but I can see it over in the other room, from here at least. But anyway, that is pretty ridiculous, isn't it? The New York Knicks, I shouldn't say ridiculous, but the New York Knicks winning the NBA Finals, becoming the NBA champions. And it was just great. I wrote a lengthy story on that video. I put a lot of video and pictures that I took, video I took photos I took, and there's so much more on the cutting room floor. I might put that in for paid subscribers only because there's a lot more video and photos that I did not include that I might do a separate section for paid subscribers only on that trip. So it does pay to become a paid subscriber. Mediocre Mom said, when do we get so old? I'm 50 going on 19. I tell you, Mediocre, goodness gracious me. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the last time the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. And yeah, I've been around the block. I'm a little bit north of where you are. But I'm definitely I've been around the block a bit. Oh my goodness me. It's just a really oh aging. Got to make the best of it. It's not pretty all the time, is it? But you got to do what you can in terms of that, as I think some of us can attest to. But Derek says, "Hey Omar and all, thank you, Derek. Hello, nice to see you." Yes, that's what I meant. The comments after Norway, Tuchel's comments did not help. That is, I think, what Carol has said there. Thank you, Carol, for clarifying. You were an Englishman in New York, literally. I certainly was. As Sting would say, mediocre. From the album, Nothing Like the Sun. See, I've got the album, but I mean, I remember that when it came out in 1988. I think that album came out in 1988, Mediocre. And that song was on it, an Englishman in New York, and I certainly was. Used to live in New York for many years as well, and had season tickets for the New York Knicks for 10 years. Um, Way back when, a long time ago. But there you are. Stacy from California, she says, I was a lucky recipient from one of Omar's giveaways. Thank you, Stacy, for doing that, for attesting to that. And Stacy is one of many of the people who, over the better course of a year, have received as paid subscribers gifts from me. I've given away all kinds of things. Like I say, I'll run down again: books, compact discs, vinyl records, picture discs. I've given away, all kinds of things. Books, lots of books are given away. I'm going to be giving away Knicks championship apparel, even though maybe you may not be a New York Knicks fan out there, but I'm giving away the authentic championship apparel that's available, and all the rest of it. So even if you're not a Knicks fan, there's lots of giveaways to come, lots more to come, and they will be coming in the next few weeks. I'll be resuming those giveaways after a little hiatus that I've taken from the giveaways. But there we go. Adam says, Adam writes, after Argentina gave the Nazis their own town, I can only hope they get destroyed by Spain. Yep. The history's there. The Argentinians. I mean, listen. I know England doesn't have a great history. I mean, listen. I'm fully conscious, at least, born and raised and grew up in England. I'm fully conscious of England's history. I listen. I am not afraid to talk about that, and I think we really need to reckon with that. I point to a book over my shoulder here called Empire Land by Safnam Sangera, which talks about the British Empire. So I'm clear on that, very clear on the wretched history and all of that stuff. And as far as Argentina goes, Adam, yeah, Argentina, I'm aware of that history too. Argentina, I mean, nasty, awful, awful, with the history off the pitch. So I mean, I'm not going to make this a history lesson at the moment, but I'm fully capable. That's where you come and tune in to me on Sundays for Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific time, because I do give you the whole history of a lot of things, not just in the U.S. but in another number of other countries, and Argentina's is nothing to be proud of either. So there is that. Thank you, Adam, for reminding us about Argentina. Um, I mean, of course, the final four. If you looked at these final four teams, it's like the colonizers' ball. You had France, you had Spain. I mean, Spain, the colonizers too. You have the Spanish, you have the French, you have the English, and you have the Argentinians. So I mean, and before that, you had the Belgians. Anyway, like I said, I'm fully capable of getting into the history. Uncharacteristically for me, I'm not going to go into that today. But this book, Empire Land. That might be a book, Adam, that I give away If you become a paid subscriber, that particular book there, um, I am straining to get it here. This particular book is one I might give away in the future. Okay. So that book, I hope you can see that, everybody. That book that you see there is a really important book, Safnam Sangera. And I have a few others, but this one is a really good book, and I highly recommend it. And this might well be one of the giveaways. Not this exact copy, of course, because as you can see, it's had its day. But it's definitely a book that I will give away in the future. But you have to be a paid subscriber in order to have a chance to win this book. So thank you, Adam, for your contributions. And go Spain, says Adam. Yeah, listen, I'm going to obviously root for Spain. I mean, yes, I'm not rooting for Argentina. No freaking way. Oh, God. And as I said, I can tell you a whole lot more about the history of that country. Oh, dear. And how it treats people who look like me. Um, but I will do that on another day and at another time. I'll read out some more of your comments. Yes, Adam writes, I want that book about British colonialism. JE writes, yes, I've won as well. JE, thank you for being a continued supporter and a paid subscriber. Your support is abiding, and I really appreciate you for that. Thank you for your loyalty and your ongoing support. And JE can attest, yes, I've won as well, JE writes. I've started to write it having said it before, but I do care to add to the attesting to having received a prize. Yeah, this is all legitimate. I mean, I hate to have to say that this is legitimate, but the reason why I do say it is because trust is very important. And if you've watched these lives long enough with yours truly, I talk about how important trust is. I really, really do. I will not, and I would not ever steer you wrong. And I just am glad and thankful that at least two of the people in this chat who are paid subscribers can absolutely vouch for the legitimacy, the transparency, and the veracity. I think I may have said that twice. I don't know. That word veracity of the giveaways, legitimate ones. I'm telling you, I've had people even um, be so kind as to thank me in letters, in messages for the giveaways. So it's all legitimate. This is all, again, you can trust me with your information. I don't do anything nefarious with it. Again, it's a shame that I have to actually say this, but the point is, I do it because trust is a very important thing in this world, and it's important to me to emphasize this and to continue to earn your trust. So thank you very much indeed for those of you who are paid subscribers. And even if you're not a paid subscriber, thank you for joining and watching. Become a free subscriber. You will not be sorry, but especially if you're a paid subscriber, you can attest to the great giveaways that I've done. I've given away a number of things in the past. But anyway, you get the idea. I want to keep on reading your comments out here. Oh my gosh, we're just an hour or so after that dreadful loss by England. They lost 2-1 to Argentina in Atlanta. The World Cup is over for England. Well, it's not quite over. They will play on Saturday in what I think is going to be a meaningless third place game. Remember, in 2018, England played in third placed game and they lost, and they ended up finishing fourth. And there you go. So we'll see what they do against France on Saturday. I think Mbappe is going to be raring to go in that game. But the bottom line is that you're looking at the four best teams in the world here. Argentina, England, Spain, and France are the top four teams in the world, and they all were the final four in this World Cup, in this men's World Cup. Mediocre says the Sun, which I hate and won't read because of Hillsborough. Oh yes, the Sun. I will never look at that either, Mama, mediocre Mama, because of what they did with Hillsborough was unforgivable. Unforgivable, the Sun. And did they ever print a retraction? I think they did, but probably was half the size of the nasty things they printed about the Liverpool fans. Justice for the 97, of course. But yeah, the Sun is a piece of garbage, and quite right there, mediocre mama. And they are saying the Argentine fans are waving banners saying the Falklands are ours, not classy. Well, if that is the case, yeah, that's not classy at all. Argentina fans, some of the Argentina fans are awful. They really are. There's some decent people, but there's some Argentinian fans who, quite frankly, are racist. And there was a situation like that in one of the games earlier in the tournament. There was a black man who is a social media. I mean, he does some really great videos. He's at all these World Cup matches. I forget his name now. Otherwise, I'll give you his Instagram handle. He has over, well, God knows, millions of followers. Really great guy. Lovely man. Does just great entertaining videos. And the Argentina fans, he was at an Argentina game and he was singing, doing something there, and there were fans making monkey noises at him and telling him, go home. And, sticking, it's like just blatantly racist stuff. So, I mean, yeah, there's some of that with Argentina as well, the Argentinian fans. And yeah, holding up them banners, if that is accurate, mediocre, yeah, that absolutely is not on for me either, and not classy. And yeah, I really hope that Spain teach this lot a lesson on Sunday. You know, um, I really do hope so. I really do. I'll leave it at that. Adam writes, King Leopold from Belgium. Holy, yeah, exactly, Adam. Absolutely. I mean, King Leopold, do you know he killed over 14 million black people in, I think, the Congo? Well, it would have been the Congo, wouldn't it? I mean, the history's out there. And if you want to do a bit of deep digging and deep diving and deep reading, you can. And I normally recommend lots of books. And there's a documentary, I think, called, is it King Leopold's Mines? But anyway, yeah, Adam, I'm glad you know the history too. I'm glad you do. Yeah, the King Leopold. Oh boy. Patricia has joined us. Hello, Patricia. Beatrice Khan has joined us. Really enjoyed this live, Omar. I'll be coming back again. Thank you, Mediocre, and I'll make sure I'll make it my business to do the same. Likewise as well with yours, because I've watched some of those from afar as well, but I need to be part of them, and I would love to do that too. So, Mediocre, thank you for joining us. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you for your time here. And JE, hello to you. JE writes, "Wow, yeah, it's been yeah, that's a true story about the 14 million black people in the yeah, yeah, 14 million black people, Congolese. This can be researched and looked at. It's close to 14 million. Yeah. Oh yeah. This guy was, to say that he was evil was is just an understatement, isn't it? There's a lot of documentaries on King Leopold, Leopold, and of Belgium. Ruled with an iron fist, was rapacious, was very violent. So that's part of the colonizers' World Cup, if you will. But yeah, yeah, this is, and I'm sure you'll find accounts that say it was less than 14 million people, but really it was not. Um, there's a great documentary that's narrated by Peter Coyote, the actor, who actually lives here in San Francisco. And I saw this documentary about 15 to 20 years ago, and it was quite staggering and quite intense and hard to watch because of the brutality of King Leopold. But I want to, and again, I'll talk about the history on another day. But this was a really tough day for England, and it is a real shame that we could not see this through to the end. What could have been, and now we play a meaningless game, although some people might not call it a meaningless game on Saturday. But we essentially play a meaningless football match on Saturday afternoon. Nobody cares about the third place game. Nobody cares. Of course, you're going to want to finish third optimally, obviously, but if you're not in that World Cup final, you're not anywhere, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody remembers who finished third in the World Cup. Nobody does. And the people barely remember who bloody well finished second in the World Cup. I mean, obviously the last World Cup final was brilliant between France and Argentina, and we all remember who came in first and second. But in most cases, people don't remember the second place team. All they remember in sports is who won the championship, who won the Super Bowl. They don't barely remember who played in the Super Bowl. They just remember who won. They remember that the Seattle Seahawks won this year in the Super Bowl. They remember that the New York Knicks won this year. My New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. That's all they remember. I mean, really. because years from now, when you look at the ledger, you're not going to be looking at runners up. You're going to be looking at the champion. That's what you're going to be looking at, especially in American sports. I call it a mediocre. Excuse me, not. Oh, mediocre mama, mama. I should just call you. I should. I should call you mediocre mama, non-mediocre. Double M. That is not a. Let me write. Let me read this again. Double M. I call it, writes Double M, a meaningless game. It's all about the money. I agree, MM. It is all about the money. FIFA, just finding a few more pockets that they can dig the change out of to play this third place game. I don't think this third place game was always a thing. I think this got introduced within the last 20 years or less. Mediocre, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do agree, and I know, call us cynical souls and call us cynical sorts. But the fact of the matter is that that third place game is always about a money grab. That's all it's about. It gives Miami, it does boost the economy for Miami. But the bottom line is, it really doesn't do anything listen, boosting the economy is not a bad thing. But the bottom line is that hey, well, hey, it gets eyeballs because someone's going to watch that third place game. Frankly, I don't know if I'm going to. I mean, as an England fan, I probably should, but do I really want to watch the third place game? God. Do you, at this point, if you're an England fan like I am, do you really want to watch the third place game? I mean, the only reason I really would is because it is against France. If it was against Switzerland, I wouldn't bother. But if it's against France, probably I'll watch it. You got world class players on that team. And let's see what happens. Let me read the rest of your comments out. Thank you, Darnell Martin. It's great to always see you here, Darnell Martin, the fantastic filmmaker that she is, and producer that she is, and writer that she is. Please look up Darnell Martin's credits. She is obviously here on Substack. Make sure that you look at what she's done. Fantastic stuff. So, Darnell, thank you very much once again for joining us here on this World Cup wrap, the semi-final match that ended England 1, Argentina 2. Absolute heartbreak for the Three Lions here. 60 years of hurt now, as the song goes. David Baddiel might have to start remaking that song along with Frank Skinner and the rest, because it's just regrettable that we got bounced out here today. And again, as far as I'm concerned, the manager of England, Thomas Tuchel, has a lot to answer for as we go through here. The post-mortem will be brutal, it will be ugly, but it will be absolutely justified, because for the life of me, how on earth do you play that kind of negativity on your tactical and don't use any tactical nous whatsoever, and then you just basically give the game to Argentina. I mean, Argentina earned it; they deserved it. I'm not hating on them, but when you sub negatively like that, you're just playing right into the world champions' hands. And you have to know, this is not Switzerland, this is not Egypt, this is not any of the teams that England played, like DR Congo, like Norway, like Mexico. This is the world champions of football. And if you can't get that right, you'll get nothing right. Darnell Martin, hello again, and thank you for your support. Always a pleasure to see you. And Edie Frankenfield has joined us as well. Amy says, magnificent mama. Yeah. Yeah, she's tremendous. And MM is perfect, writes Mediocre. I also answered the mama and Trace, short for Tracy. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And it's funny because I had been calling you all of those things, except I didn't know what your name was. So, Trace. As well. But yeah, it's great to see you here. Thank you, Mediocre, for joining. And she writes, I'll probably watch the third place game because I'm a masochist. Isn't, listen, Mama, isn't every England fan by design and by mere being a masochist? Because we really have to be. By definition, I'm trying to search for the word. By definition, the old age creeps up on you, and your memory just goes all over the place. By definition, I think every England fan is. But yes, mediocre. You're a masochist too, huh? Oh my goodness me. Ah, dear. It's a rough business, isn't it? Being an England fan is a completely rough business. We've seen heartbreak over and over and over and over and over again. The hand of God, that was a joke. We lost 2-1 there as well. I mean, it was this has been so painful. It really is. You wait for the other shoe to drop. Oh dear. It's been an awful, awful, awful game here. Edie Frankenfield, hello again, Edie. She writes, I was rooting for England, not sure who I'll cheer for in the final. Hello there. Edie, thank you, by the way, for the comment. There were a lot of people, I think, who were rooting for England, and there were a fair amount for rooting for Argentina. I think in the stadium there in Atlanta, it was probably 50-50. Maybe Argentina fans shaded it a little bit. All the crowd shots, however, suggested that they were probably more Argentina fans anyway, because they didn't see a whole lot of crowd shots, at least wide shots of England fans in that Atlanta stadium. But yeah, Edie, this was a difficult one. Really difficult one, not just because of the defeat, but the manner in which we lost. The manner in which England lost this match is something that I'm going to have a hard time with. I mean, I'm just being frank. When my teams lose, by the way, um, not to be this, because I think as a straight man, right? I'm not one of these kinds of men that gets toxic about defeats. I will wear it for maybe half a day, and then I'll move on. And I won't be a miserable pain in the neck to anybody. Um, it's something that I probably internalize, and I'll get it off my chest. But I never am one of those kinds of people who makes other people's lives miserable because their team has lost. And there's so many men out here, dare I generalize, who actually become very toxic and take it out on their partners or their spouses or their significant others, and become very abusive. And obviously, look, I've talked about this a lot when I'm not doing football, when I've been doing just the other things I do on the Substack Live, and I talk about domestic violence and how, on Super Bowl Sundays in the United States, the incidences of domestic violence actually increase because men are being violent against women, and more so on a day like Super Bowl Sunday than pretty much any other day on the calendar. And so it's a really horrible thing, and we need to do a whole lot better as men. To put it mildly, we have to do far better. Um, but for me, when I'm with these losses, as painful as this one is, I'm not going to be walking around in a strop for hours and hours. I mean, I don't think that helps mentally, health wise, mentally, or your mental health, and it doesn't help anybody. So, for me, obviously, it's going to be a difficult next. Just absorbing this defeat for the next couple of hours will not be easy. But you know what? You have to take your mind off it. Focus on positive things, right? Focus on doing things that you love to enjoy doing, that give you joy, happiness, pleasure, fulfillment, satisfaction, accomplishment. You just have to deal with that. I mean, that's how I learned to deal with all this stuff. But you can't take this to too much to heart, as tough as it is. The people who will take it to heart, understandably, will be the players. The England players are crestfallen right now. And I just did not want to see. I did not want to see that because I think these lads deserved better. I mean, full marks to Argentina, but these lads deserved a lot better today than this from their manager. I think the manager let them down. That's just me. So while we're on the pile-on brigade on Thomas Tuchel, count me in because he just did not, when it really mattered the most, did not rise to the occasion and played too negatively with the subs. But that's just me. And then the confirmation of that was to put on Ivan Toney and Marcus Rashford with 2.5 minutes to go. Why didn't you put them on earlier? That's my repeated refrain here throughout the this live. Yes, every England fan is a masochist. That's Media Mama says. I mean, it's true. It's really, really true. By definition. Because for us to want to keep watching this stuff after 40, 50, 60 years of hurt is the very definition of masochist. Oh, dearie me. Mediocre Mama writes, my son, who is 24, agrees with you about feeling awful for the players. Yeah, I'm glad your son does. Thank you to your son for having that point of view as well, because really, at the end of the day, those players put in years of work, and the work that we don't get to see, and that's something that no England fan really appreciate. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't appreciate it, but that's what no England fan gets to see: the work behind closed doors, the sacrifices that these lads undergo, the what do you call it? The trying to think of the word now that's escaping my lexicon again. Old age is creeping in, and I'm trying to say the sacrifices, and I'm trying to say the things they put their bodies through. We don't get to see that, and it's not just for the England men's national team. In any sport, whether it's the WNBA, the things that that women put their bodies through in sports. Tennis players. We just saw Wimbledon last week and the beginning of this week. The things that these men and women put their bodies through, and what they endure, and what they play with, what they're playing through, the injuries, the cortisone shots, the just name it. And all of these athletes sacrifice a great deal. And I know it's very easy to reflexively say, well, what about the money? They're making millions of pounds. Ooh. It's not about that. It's not about the money for a lot of these players and athletes in the NBA. It's not. It's about dedicating themselves to the game. Of course, the money is nice if you can get it. Of course it is. But it's really, and I get it, it's a business with all this stuff, but it's really about playing. Every player, I don't care which sport it is, whether it's the England's men's national team or the women's national team in England or any of these teams, whether it's Serena Williams at Wimbledon or Coco Gauff or the woman who just won the Wimbledon title the other day, forget her name now, Noskova, whether it's Yannick Sinner, who won on the men's side on Sunday, whether it's God knows who in the NFL, my goodness, they put their bodies through hell. And it's dedication. You don't do anything else. Eat, sleep, drink, football, tennis, hockey, basketball, swimming, track and field, NFL, you know, Super Bowls. Um, it's a really, really hard slog. So I'm gutted for these players more than I am as a fan itself. I mean, I'm obviously very disappointed and sad, but I'm gutted for the players. They gave everything. England call-ups, all the rest of it. And you know what's also going to happen? One thing I didn't mention about Thomas Tuchel, the post-mortem is also going to be about why didn't he bring Cole Palmer? Why didn't he bring Phil Foden here? Why didn't he bring Trent Alexander-Arnold? You can see that post-mortem as well, all of that. Why didn't they bring this one in? Why didn't he leave? Why did he leave this lot on the tarmac? Why didn't he bring Phil Foden over and Cole Park? You can see it all now. And some of these pundits were saying Jude Bellingham shouldn't even have been on the plane. Jude Bellingham scored 6 goals in this World Cup, 4 in the last 2 games before today. He didn't really do a whole lot tonight because he got bottled up. But bottom line is that, hang on, bloody hell, he scores 6 goals, so did Harry Kane. Don't tell me that Jude Bellingham should have stayed on the tarmac. Just absolutely outrageous. These pundits are just so envious of people like Jude Bellingham, just so envious that they never got to kick a ball on the professional level, and they're not good at it on any level. So they have a go at Jude Bellingham. It's just so the politics of this and some of the racial angle of it too, quite frankly, is another story altogether. But some of these pundits are so vengeful and envious. But the bottom line here, folks, is that England lost the game because I thought there was a lack of nous from the manager. Let me read out these comments. Agree with you. Let me see. Let me read this. You are still talking, writes Vicky. Vicky! It's nice to see you, Vicky. Thank you. I am still talking. Thank you. Thank you for your abiding support. It's a pleasure to see you and appreciate your support. And always, as a paid subscriber, I value and appreciate everybody. But obviously, as a paid subscriber, I appreciate you. Thank you, Vicky. I'm sorry England lost today, writes Vicky. Yeah. This is a tough one to take. I told you, Vicky, I think you were at the last one of these I did on Saturday. I said, win or lose, I would be back here after the game against Argentina, after the semifinal game. I said I'd be back here, and I kept my promise. And I'll be back here again for one more of these on Sunday for the World Cup final wrap. And of course, I'll also be doing double duty on Sunday because at 8 a.m. Pacific time, I will also be doing the usual Sundays with Omar, where I'll be talking about subjects not related to the World Cup. I'll be doing much more different topics. I have an idea of one of the topics already. So please join me at 8 a.m. Pacific. That's 11 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. And then, of course, I'll be doing the World Cup final wrap after the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. So thank you, Vicky, for the commiserations. Yeah, it was a really rough one today. Really, really sorry that England did not get through. They were about 12 or 13 minutes away, but it just proved to be a little bit too much for England as well. Mama says, agree. So many stories, she writes. Look at Paul Gascoigne, Gaza Gascoigne. Oh, yeah, who can forget Gaza? Oh, man, that was rough. He was crying his eyes out, wasn't he, years ago? It was a really, really rough thing. The money didn't help at all, and so many others. Yeah, you can write a book, Mediocre Mama, about all of these failures at the last hurdle for England. You know, El Tel, Bobby Robson, who else? Graham Taylor as manager. Oh, crikey. I'm just thinking of all the managers mediocre. Um, as I said, El Tel, Terry Venables, Graham Taylor, Sven Goran Eriksson, Fabio Capello. Oh my God, so many managers. Gareth Southgate. Um, Obviously, Thomas Tuchel now goes in that book. The only one that does not go in that book is Sir Alf Ramsey, because in 1966, 60 years ago, England defeated West Germany by a score of 4 goals to 2 at Wembley, which is the only time we hosted the World Cup in our history. And this men's World Cup back then was won by England. That's the only time we've won it. And by the way, the trophy was very different back then than it is today. It was not the Jules Rimet trophy back then. It was a different trophy. And it looked very different than the one now, even if it was the Jules Rimet trophy, which it was not in the same classic guise. It looked very different from the one today. Oh, so sorry, writes Vicky. Yeah, Vicky. This is a tough one. As I said, maybe before you came in, I'm not one to be toxic or anything like that around sports defeats. Although I'm a passionate fan of my teams. When they lose, obviously I'm not happy, but I'm not going to mope about and make anyone's life a misery. Um, I hate to say it, but it's true. It's only a game. Life goes on. But like I said before, and like Mediocre Mama has said as well, Mama has said earlier here, and she doesn't mind me calling her that, so I'm calling her that. Um, these players, that's who I really feel for right now. And again, someone's going to say some cynical thing about, oh, come on, Omar, why are you feeling sorry for them? They're making millions of pounds. It's not the point. It's not the point. If you really want to know that it's not the point, go look at all these other teams that have exited the World Cup this time around, and look at their eyes. Look at the water tumbling out of their eyes. Ronaldo crying his eyes out. It means something to these guys. Same thing in the NBA Finals. When the winners, my team, the Knicks, won, they were crying their eyes out too. That's what it means. Money or no money. It's the love of the game. And these lads from 1 to 10, from 1 to 11, excuse me, and all the bench, they're going to feel this. And you've got to think about what people like Cole Palmer and what's his name? Phil Foden and Trent Alexander Arnold. You've got to imagine penny for their thoughts right now, shilling for their thoughts, a halfpenny for their thoughts right now. They never made the England squad. And Tuchel got raked over the coals for leaving them behind. I'm not going to second guess Tuchel on leaving them lot out. I'm not. But what I will second guess him on is today's game and how he managed the last 25 minutes to half hour of that game. I will second guess that forever. Mama says, Jack Grealish, I'm an Everton fan. Oh, dear. I'm a Watford fan there, mediocre. So there we go. Watford still not back in the Premier League after 5 seasons away from it, I think now. Our ownership is just awful. I hate to even talk about Watford at this moment, but I do Watford material too, but not on this platform. But Grealish, I don't know. I don't know about Jackie Boy. Jackie Boy. I don't know. He brings you something mediocre. That one thing that is true about Jackie Boy, is that he does mediocre does bring a bit more dimension in terms of what he can do in the box in close quarters, in the 18-yard box. He's got a good low center of gravity. He's hard to bring down. He's a tricky customer. I don't quite think, though, that Jackie Boy is as solid a player as he was, say, 5 years ago. I think that happens to all of us when we get older. We just lose half a step. We don't run as fast. We don't, you know, you know what I mean? We don't walk as briskly. We may have an unsteady gait. We may, whatever it might be, right? That's what happens as you get older. It takes longer to recall the thought or memory of something because that's just the way it is. And Jack Grealish, although he's certainly younger than I am, and I think Mediocre Mama has conceded the same thing in the comments earlier. Um, I don't think he's quite the player that he was. Doesn't mean that he shouldn't have been in the mix, but I just don't think he's quite the player that he had been back, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Hasn't seen a lot of football. I know he played a lot at Everton, and he was the bee's knees there. I think he performed well at Everton, but he was sitting on the bench a lot for Manchester City. Sit there. And bottom line is he's just not. He was just not considered. But you never know. Hard to say. I mean, it's very easy now, I think, for all of us to second guess some of the selections. But what I'm going to certainly stick with is this game today because I don't think Tuchel had a very good game for the final half hour of it. That's just my feeling. Jason, hello to you. Vicky, I am hungry and need to eat. Hugs to you, Omar. Hugs back to you, Vicky. Thank you very much. I think I am in need of more than a couple of hugs after this game. Um, so thank you, Vicky. Please go eat. I'm going to be doing that very shortly. I don't mean to keep you any longer. I'm going to probably wrap this up. Well, I will wrap it up after I read these final comments out. But yeah, this is an immensely disappointing finish to this game. England played pretty bloody well today. I thought they marshaled the game well in the first half. I thought the first half was as good a half as they'd played in this tournament. They said they just didn't really fashion any real chances. And then, of course, the second half got better with the goal in the 56th minute from Anthony Gordon. And then, of course, after that, Argentina turned on the afterburners and Thomas Tuchel turned on the panic signs and the panic stations. And so that's really all you need to know as Argentina played the role of the big bad wolf and huffed and puffed and blew our house down. Windsor Castle was absolutely flattened. Well, not the real Windsor Castle, but you get the idea. And by the time we looked at the 93rd minute, the game was done and dusted. So really, really sad stuff today. I'm an Everton fan because of Watford. Oh, yeah, we have to have a running conversation about that one. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, yeah, them's fighting words now, mama. Oh, God, I gotta have a laugh here. Yeah, please do, because I really want to find out about this one. What? I should have wore my Watford jersey. I've got a million of those too. I should be wearing my Watford jersey next time I do this World Cup thing. I might wear a Watford shirt because England are out now, innit? So you might see me wearing a Watford shirt. I'll do that just to spite you. I'll, I'll do that just to spite mediocre mama. Just to spite. I'm terrible. I know. I know. Thank you for putting up with the post-match edition or the post-mortem edition of the World Cup semi-final wrap as England go down to defeat, having led 1-0 to the world champions who came from behind as they do. Geez, the third time they've done that in this cup, or maybe the second. I forget how many times they come from behind. The Cape Verde was just, it just makes you know that Cape Verde was so good against them. And Egypt should have been, let me tell you something. Egypt should have been, anyway, that's all done and dusted now. I can't go back to Egypt. That's, anyway. Egypt are probably still protesting that game. But yeah, England fell prey to trying to hold on to win a game rather than than trying to go out and win a game. You can't. I said this before. You cannot hold on to win a contest and park the bus against the world champions. That's just not going to happen. That's not on at all. And today, unfortunately, Thomas Tuchel put up the rear guard action and parked a few buses, but you cannot do that against this Argentina side. It's very naive from him. Very naive indeed. Cheeky. You too. Touche. You too there. A mediocre. Can you end with a Billy Joel song? Coffee is life rights. And I'm a fan of many uh, artists, including Billy Joel, whom I have not yet seen in concert. And Billy Joel, by the way, if you're watching, and I know you're not, but if you are, or if you have a friend who is, my best wishes to you on a speedy recovery. Keep fighting, Billy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can please go and do the research online about that. Keep on fighting, Billy. And I know you'll make it through. And I know you'll persevere. So, Billy, we're all rooting for you here and wishing you all the very best. And Mediocre adores Billy Joel too. So there you go. That makes two of us here in this chat, and obviously three of us because Coffee is Life writes, you used to sing for us. That's not finished, Coffee is Life. That is not finished, even on a day like today, with England spitting the bit, thanks to their manager. That is not off the table at all. It's completely on the table because I'm going to talk and I'm going to sing. About one of those Billy Joel songs. I'm just trying to think about which one. Maybe you'll throw a request out. But yeah, Billy Joel. Oh dear, oh dear. I've got a load of his albums. Um, Only the Good Die Young off the Glass Houses album. It's still rock and roll to me. I think it's off the Glass Houses album as well. Of course, the Stranger album, which has fantastic tracks on it, including The Stranger, which I put out on my feed here on Sunday. And of course, the great tracks like She's Only a Woman to Me and Vienna and Anthony's song Moving Out and Scenes from Italian Restaurant. A ball of red, a bottle of white. Whatever kind of mood you're in tonight, I'll meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant. There you go. That is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant off the album The Stranger. That's Billy Joel's best album, by the way. 1977. I've got the vinyl of it. I might do that as a giveaway for paid subscribers as well. So it pays to become a paid subscriber here to yours truly Substack because that's another one. I'm going to do that. I will give away The Stranger, the vinyl edition, not the CD, the vinyl. If you're a vinyl record player person, you have a vinyl record player, you're in luck. And you're a Billy Joel fan, you're in luck because I will do that. That will be one of the giveaways coming up down the line. But yeah, that is Coffee is Life, dedicated to you since you asked. Um, and also to Mediocre Mama, since she's a Billy Joel fan as well. Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. That album is a fantastic album, the Stranger album. And my favorite song on that album is, God, there's two of them. One of them is The Stranger. I think that's a tremendous track. And the other song on there that I really, really love is Vienna too. This all that album is almost flawless. That's a flawless album, and also Moving Out, Anthony's song. Um, there's at least three or four. There's loads of tracks. She's Always a Woman. That's also a great one on that album. Scenes from a Town. I mean, all the tracks on there are just perfect tracks. If you're Billy Joel, and I promise I'll wrap this up in a few minutes' time. But if you're a Billy Joel fan, you cannot go wrong with the album The Stranger. And if you're not a Billy Joel fan, that album is fantastic. He's not put out an album since then that's even been close to good. 52nd Street's a good album too, by the way, with the song Honesty on it and others. Honesty, such a lonely word. That's a great song too, off of the 52nd Street album. Then you've got, oh Christ, Piano Man. Great album as well, which came out, I think, in 1972 or 73. He did an album before that, Billy Joel did, but Piano Man's a fantastic album. Um, And then there's a whole lot of others. I can't even think of them all at the moment. I'm just too frazzled from this from this game. But no, the singing will continue. River of Dreams, yes, that's another one. Another good album, another great song. Thank you, Mediocre, for that. River of Dreams is another a great song, great album, and gosh, Turnstiles is another one. Turnstiles came out after The Stranger, and Turnstiles has probably got my best Billy Joel song on it, which is of course a New York State of Mind, which I love the lyrics for. Um, that album also has on James, which is a great ballad, which I love, and also the song oh Christ, Say Goodbye to Hollywood. That's a great song, and a few others. Turnstiles Turnstiles came out after, right out, was the next album after The Stranger. And it's impossible. Turnstiles was doomed because The Stranger was so bloody good as an album in 1977 that anything that came out after that was impossible. I think that Turnstiles came out the year after or the year before. I think it was the year after. I think someone can do the checking on that. I think it's 78. Um, it was impossible. There was no way that Billy Joel was going to top The Stranger. It just wasn't going to do it. And so, Turnstiles, which has my favorite track of any Billy Joel song, which is New York State of Mind, because of course I was playing that too over and over again in New York, obviously. And the Knicks play it when the Knicks are at Madison Square Garden and their home venue. Every game they play that. And when I went to Game 4 of the NBA Finals last month. The great comeback from 29 points down, which London-born OG Anunoby was the great architect of the winning tip-in off of a Jalen Brunson miss. At the end of that, they played the full Billy Joel song, "New York State of Mind," and I've loved that song for decades. So anyway, thank you for that, Mama. And W has joined again. Coffee is Life. Anthony works at a grocery store, saving his pennies to Sunday. Mama Leone, yes, Coffee is Life, knows those lyrics. And I added the lyric the after the Anthony works at a grocery store. That's the moving out song. That's called Anthony's song. And by the way, that song has been featured in a gazillion movies, including the film The Wolf of Wall Street. Um, I forget. I think it was maybe the first 45 minutes of that song, out of that song, of that film, where I think Leo DiCaprio's driving somewhere, or maybe he's going somewhere. I forget where. His character in the film, Jordan Belfort, and there's a moment during that film where you hear in the background "Moving Out," Anthony's song. Zija Pulp has joined. Hello. Deanna has joined us. Hello. Yay. Thank you. Coffee is Life. Thank you for appreciating my terrible singing. But I do appreciate you for enduring it, putting up with it. Sing a bit from The Stranger, please. Oh, from the actual song, The Stranger? Oh, I'm so tempted to do that. But I love that song because, again, off the topic that I was talking about on Sunday. Oops. Still got this book here that I didn't put back in the bookshelf. Off the topic I was talking about on Sunday, around Graham Plattner and us as human beings and how we respond to all of that and all the other things I dealt with in that live from this past Sunday. And if you didn't watch it, please do. I know it's 3.5 hours long, but I did deal with that. And I said I recommended that song, "The Stranger," because I think that song, "The Stranger," tells a lot about us. And Billy Joel was absolutely right with the lyrics. If you go listen to that song, listen carefully to the lyrics of that song. He nails it. The thing is, Billy Joel is somebody, and I know I'm going on about Billy Joel here for a bit. So pardon me for those of you who wanted me to expound a bit more on the World Cup. I will get back to it before finally calling it a day in a few minutes. But what the Billy Joel writes very personally. So do lots of people, but he really wears his heart on his sleeve when he writes. And his songwriting on the Stranger itself, he really loves to dig inside out in a song, and he just really puts out there the internal parts of not just himself but of human beings and human nature. And that song, "The Stranger," of all the songs he's ever written and ever done, that song really tells you about human beings. And I don't know that there's ever been an actual video for that song, 'cause I don't know how they'd shoot that in 2026, because the lyrics are just so on point. Um, oh, Coffee, you want me to sing it? Well, the lyrics go, "Don't be afraid to try again. Everyone." Da 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 da. I don't think I can sing the proper pitch of it. Everyone. Da da da. Ah, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can do it, but I don't know if I want to. Everyone falls down every now and again, every now and then. Um, yeah, I can't do it. I think he's better to sing it than I am. But "The Stranger," listen to the lyrics of "The Stranger," the song itself off that album. Um, Great. I don't know how he whistled. There's a great two-part documentary on Billy Joel, which is on HBO, streaming on HBO still. I forget what it's called, but it's a great two-part documentary that probably spans about 3.5 hours when you put the two parts together. And he whistles for that song. So I don't know how you'd whistle like that. And he almost was not going to put the whistling in for the song "The Stranger." And I don't think that song works without the whistling, because it's like this whistling in the dark. And it's kind of like with Michael Jackson. If you realize this, and maybe you don't know this, but Michael Jackson's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," Quincy Jones, who produced that album, Off the Wall, and produced a lot of Michael Jackson's albums, Quincy Jones actually was the one who recommended putting in the violin piece at the beginning of that song. And Michael Jackson was dead set against it. He did not want the violin portion. If you listen to "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," go listen to that song again from Michael Jackson Off the Wall album. And that piece where you hear the violin come in, the strings, at least the strings come in right near the beginning of the song when Michael Jackson goes, he screams out, and then you hear the violin, that violin section, the string section. Michael Jackson did not want the string section in that song at all. True story. And Quincy Jones basically, fought him off. Nope, we've got to keep this in here, Michael. We've got to keep this in. I'm telling you. And that's the whole heartbeat of that song. Don't stop till you get enough. Literally. That song is not the same if that string section is not in there. No, same with "The Stranger." Billy Joel whistling at the beginning and the end of that song gives it another kind of quality. Whistling in the Dark. Fantastic song. That is one of the most underrated songs that Billy Joel's ever put out, "The Stranger." And it tells so much about us as human beings. And that's why I love that song so much. Don't be afraid to try again. Everyone, I've forgotten what the word is. Everyone falls down every now and again, every now and then. I forget. And I play the song a million times. Um, but there's so much in those lyrics. Um, I'm so tempted to sing them, but "Coffee is Life," I can't do that now. I want to do it now, but I'm not going to, because this is not a Billy Joel sing along. But as long as you request it, I mean, I will try not to disappoint you. Stacy from California says hello again. My Life, yes, Coffee is Life, off that same album, isn't it? Isn't My Life on the Stranger album? I think it is. I think maybe not though. God, I don't remember. I've got pretty much all his records, so I mean I should know. I've got a few vinyls. I've got his load of CDs from him. So I don't remember. My Life I think is on there on the Stranger album. I'm trying to remember all the tracks. Vienna is on side two. Um, She's Always a Woman is on side one. Um, you've got The Stranger on side one. You've got um, Anthony's Song is on side two. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, I'm just overloaded on the songs. Saw his MSG concert a few weeks back on telly and was just in heaven. Yeah, mediocre mama. Absolutely. He is fantastic in concert, though. I haven't seen him ever in concert, but I've seen him on TV in concert, which is not the same thing, obviously. Um, but I really want to see him in concert live. That I've seen pretty much everybody in concert, including Bob Dylan, Michael Jackson, and Prince, and Bruce Springsteen. And to think that um, uh, I've not seen Billy Joel is kind of scandalous, actually. So, I've seen Eartha Kitt in concert, you know, um, James Brown. I've seen pretty much everybody. I kid you not, in concert. And one of the few people I have not seen is Billy Joel. And so, yeah, I know I've seen some of those concerts on TV, but and you saw it on television as well. He's very good in concert, very good in concert. But I have to see him live. That's what I have not done. That's one on my bucket list. But again, most importantly, uh, as far as Billy Joel's concerned, and I've been talking about it now for the last 10 minutes or so. Um, uh, what was I going to say? As far as Billy Joel is concerned, um, the most important thing now is to have him come back and get back to fitness and wellness because he's gone through a lot over the last God knows how many almost a year now I think um, whatever it is I forget maybe the last 6 8 months. But anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about with Billy Joel, you can please go look it up. It's a quick search. So I do hope that he just perseveres. He's going through a fight right now, and I'm sure he will persevere. But you just want to send your thoughts and prayers and all those things to him. I lost the comments. Yes, says Coffee is Life. Susan Huffland has joined us. Hello, Susan. Um, yeah, yeah, I think we'll have to mediocre. If that's what you're referring to, the concert. That would be great. Um, Billy Joel is fantastic. We'll have to do that. Really, I'm a big fan of his. Um, you know, a lot of by the way, a lot of the songs. In fact, on the 52nd Street album, and I have the album, but I'm just thinking about it now. The song "Big Shot" is on there. Big Shots are really good. In fact, there's three straight songs on that album: Big Shot, Honesty, and oh crikey! And again, I'm doing this from memory, all in a row. One of the things when he arranges his songs on his albums, he really does put the songs in the right kind of sequence to give you a tempo and a feel for the texture of his songs and his work and the way he arranges them on his album in order because you have to arrange your album a certain way. You don't just throw tracks on. You arrange the album in a certain way to get a feel of it for the listener and to give a sense of I don't know what the word is, a je ne sais quoi. But that album 52nd Street has got a really good. He puts these songs in perfect order. It's like Michael Jackson off a Thriller, right? He's got Pretty Young Thing. This is not an order off a Thriller. Pretty Young Thing. The Girl Is Mine. He's got Thriller. Wanna Be Starting Something as the first track on the side one. Then in the second, he's got Lady. The Lady is my The Lady in My Life is the last song on track. Wait a minute. No, Lady in My Life is on the album side two at the end. Thriller, of course, is I think the last song on the first side of the album. And on the second side, you got Billie Jean. See, he puts on side two, Billie Jean Beat It. I mean, Billie Jean and then Beat It on the same. I mean, he put the arranger along with Michael and Quincy. They do a bloody good job on that album of putting these great songs together. The Girl Is Mine is on side one. The Wannabe, and anyway, you get the idea, right? And what else is on side two of Thriller? The Girl Is Mine. No, The Lady in My Life. Anyway, you can tell I'm just completely out of it with the songs. My first concert was Billy Joel, writes Coffee is Life. Susan Huffman writes, I saw him during COVID at Madison Square Garden. All right. Well done, Susan. Billy Joel, by the way, has played at Madison Square Garden more than any other artist in the history of that great famed arena, where I also saw the New York Knicks, as I said last month, come from 29 points down to beat San Antonio. In a game that you'll never see. You'll never see a game like that again in the NBA Finals. You'll never see a game like that in any NBA playoff, and it's the biggest comeback in history of the NBA playoffs and finals. So during COVID, that's a fantastic job by you, Susan, to see him during COVID. Although, of course, I know that that era, that atmosphere, the COVID atmosphere wasn't great, but I bet the concert was. Um, and also, one of the things I know about Billy Joel, based on watching his concerts on television at least, he really does involve the audience. And I believe when I do these Substacks, it's really important to interact with the audience. Otherwise, why even do these things? Some people do these Substacks, and I'm not hating on anybody, but some people do these Substacks and they never engage with the audience. How do you do a Substack live? Even if you're talking to someone else, and I've occasionally talked to people doing these Substack lives and talk to them, you still have to engage with the audience. Otherwise, why are you doing the Substack live? Then it becomes also vain. Although, listen to me, I'm not trying to sound like a Carly Simon song, but the bottom line is that yeah, Billy Joel really does interact with his audience. Yeah, now I'm feeling a lot better because I'm talking about Billy Joel songs and not England songs or England losing this game. But I promise I will honestly wrap this up in the next 5 minutes because I've gone way over time. I love Big Shot writes Coffee is Life. I'm gonna have a go and have a Billy Binge to cheer me up. Thanks, Omar, and Coffee is Life. You're welcome, Mediocre Mama. Thank you for your comments today and everyone else watching. Really appreciate you all. Thank you very much indeed. Coffee is Life says you had to be a big shot. Yeah, didn't you? Ah, yes. All the lyrics coming back now. All your friends were all knocked out. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's another thing about his songwriting there, Coffee, is that he really does get to the heart of the marrow of the bone, doesn't he? It's just fantastic. Susan Hoffman writes, fully masked and sectioned off with plexiglass. Oh, wow. See? COVID era. The last concert, by the way, I saw in the COVID era was literally, back in 2020, literally was January of that year, Susan, was Mavis Staples. And if anybody doesn't know who Mavis Staples is, wow, you're really young. But if anybody doesn't know who Mavis Staples is, please go and do your due diligence by searching her name, Mavis, Mavis Staples. Please go look her up, okay? I'm not going to take time to explain. You've got to know. Anyway, I guess I can't assume anything about anything. Michael Catlers joined us. Hello, Michael. Thank you very much for joining. That is it then. I'm officially young. Yay, I'm officially young. Mediocre. She says she's officially. You probably are then because Mavis Staples. My goodness. Oh, come on. I'm stunned. Stunned you don't know. But anyway, yeah, you are officially young, mediocre. If you don't know who Merkel? 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 Angela Merkel? No, no. Mavis Staples. If you don't know who she is, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, you're young. ML has joined us. Thank you, ML. Mediocre mama. Damn, homework, she writes. What? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, Mavis Staples. Dear, come on now. So she's the last person that I saw in the COVID era before it really got bad. It was January the 30th of 2020 was the concert date here in San Francisco. I also got to see Jimmy Cliff, not during COVID, but I saw Jimmy Cliff, now the late, great Jimmy Cliff. I saw him in concert here in San Francisco maybe 10, 15 years ago now. And he was terrific too. So, but yeah, I've seen a gazillion people over the years. But that is it. I promise to keep this, to put this finally to end this live, and I'm going to do that now. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining. It took a bit of the sting out of that loss today, but it is a defeat nonetheless. You have been watching the World Cup wrap, the World Cup semifinal wrap. England 1, Argentina 2 was the full-time score. Unfortunately for England, we are not bringing it home, and it's not coming home this year. It's going to be 60 years of hurt and more, obviously, till the next World Cup in 2030. And the men's team just could not get over the line today. We took the 1-0 lead through Anthony Gordon. Excellent ball from Morgan Rogers, but we just could not. We just could not see it through. And of course, the substitutions, many substitutions that really were negative ones, ended up hurting us, I think, after all. And also credit where credit is due to Argentina. So that is it for now. Thank you very much for entertaining for indulging me, I should say, on this match, post match. I'll be back for Saturdays. Well, no, I won't be doing a post match after the third game. The third place game, no post match there. But please join me again, won't you, on twice on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, which is 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, excuse me, which is 11 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, I'll be back after that later on in the day for the post match for the World Cup final, where we hope that Spain will end up winning, but we will see. It will be one hell of a match this coming Sunday. Thank you very much indeed. Stacy from California says, thanks, Omar. Thank you, Omar, from Coffee is Life. And thank you from Mediocre Mama. And thank you all, Mediocre Mama, Mama, Coffee is Life, Stacy, everyone who's joined. Thank you all so very much indeed. That has been it for this edition of the Watford. I'm getting back at you, Mediocre. I'm getting back at you for that. Everton? Oh boy. We'll talk about that one another. We'll talk about that one, I'll tell you. But thank you everyone very much indeed. Please become a paid subscriber if you can. Listen, you do get value for your money. Trust me. We've had people in this chat attest to it. So become a paid subscriber today. If you can't do that, become a free subscriber. That's also welcomed here as well. But paid subscribers do get extras and do get a number of things that the free subscribers don't get. But equal access to this chat for all of you, regardless of who you are. Free speech, important, I believe, in not paywalling chats. I don't think that's a good idea. And I understand some people do it, but paywalling chats to me is not the definition of free speech. I want to take you all, take time to say all of you, thank you very much indeed. Yep, we didn't get this done this time around, but we will continue on. And congratulations, of course, to these lads for being battling, fighting players today. We are proud of you regardless, even if the result did not go the way we wanted it to. That's it for now. My name is Omar. Take care, everyone, and have a good rest of your evening.